quand même apprécié la séance d'enseignement là, sur le 6 contre 5. Ouais, pour vrai, c'était très instructif. Puis j'aimerais juste que tu nous partages un peu l'objectif, un peu derrière tout ça, puis le fait que ça semble être des bons échanges que tu es capable d'avoir avec les joueurs. Tu parles souvent de la vérité, c'était un peu ça.
Oui, mais tu sais, tu t'améliores pas si tu travailles pas sur ces choses-là, tu sais. Puis moi, je le dis toujours, tu vas rester... Tu resteras jamais pareil.
Ouais.
Tu vas get worse or get better. Tu t'améliores ou tu régresses, là. Tu sais, fait que... Puis, tu sais, je pense qu'on a une équipe où c'est qu'on est dans notre parcours, dans notre évolution. On est dans une place où ce qu'on s'attend à être à 5 contre 6 à la fin des matchs. Fait qu'il faut travailler là-dessus. Puis c'est pas juste les gars à la fin de la game. Des fois, c'est une punition qu'on prend, ils enlèvent leur gardien au milieu d'un match. Puis là, tu te retrouves à 5 contre 6. Fait que, comment tu vas défendre ça si ça ne devrait pas changer comment tu le défendrais en fin de match? Fait que je pense que c'est important pour tout le monde d'être confortable dans ces scénarios-là. Fait que c'est ça qu'on a fait aujourd'hui. Puis ça prend des discussions. Parce que tu peux... Il y en a qui vont en prendre en le faisant, il y en a qui vont en prendre en regardant le tableau de vidéo, il y en a qui vont l'en prendre plus avec des discussions. Fait que tu essaies de cacher toutes les cases, c'est ça? Cacher les cases. Fait qu'on a pris notre temps aujourd'hui. Moi, je trouve la pratique aujourd'hui, on les a fait travailler de bonne heure. Puis après ça, on a ralenti ça, puis on a fait de l'enseignement un petit peu. Puis aller chercher des scénarios qu'on voulait avoir.
Quand tu es rendu à enseigner ces détails-là, c'est que ça va bien, autant dans la saison que dans l'évolution de...
Bien, c'est parce que c'est là qu'on est, je pense. Puis que c'est sûr que on est satisfait de notre évolution. Je te dis satisfait. On est content de notre évolution, mais on veut être dans ces moments-là, puis faire la job, puis fermer les matchs.
C'est souvent un point critique, Martin, dans le calendrier, ce voyage parce qu'il arrive souvent un moment quand même important dans la saison. Tu as la trade deadline, tu as la course en série. Où tu vois ton équipe présentement, puis qu'est-ce que tu vois que le club peut faire pour progresser encore, là, malgré les bons résultats qu'il y a eu?
Mais je pense que c'est beaucoup la constance à travers des matchs. Je trouve que c'est quelque chose qu'on s'est amélioré beaucoup cette année. C'est de match en match, mais c'est encore plus durant la game, avoir de la constance avec notre processus, nos détails et tout. Je pense pas qu'on est un groupe qu'on commence la game puis on se dit faut gagner à soir. Là, non, on va chercher nos standards à soir. Puis ça va t'amener d'une bonne place. Fait que moi, je suis content de la manière qu'on fait ça parce qu'on est vraiment focusé plus sur le processus que le résultat.
L'endroit où vous êtes dans le classement, Martin, ajoute un coup important aux erreurs aussi. En fin de match, dans des situations 6 contre 5, dans des situations de protection. Ton équipe se trouve dans une situation où les erreurs vous font descendre de 2 positions. Est-ce que ça influence les répétitions que tu fais puis l'importance que tu mets à ça?
Bien, pas nécessairement. Je regarde notre comportement. Je regarde sur quoi qu'il faut... Comme on a fait durant le break. On est sorti du break... on est rentré dans le break avec, je pense, 4 victoires, puis 0 défaite, puis une victoire une défaite en prolongation, tu sais. Fait que 9 points sur 10. Fait que tu peux te dire tout est beau, mais non, pas tout est beau. On avait des affaires à arranger. Puis c'est ça qu'on a fait durant le break. Puis là, mais c'est ça qu'on fait. Je sais, les erreurs, que tu sois n'importe où dans le classement, les erreurs vont des fois baisser le pourcentage de l'échec du résultat. Mais fait qu'on essaie de corriger ça pour garder nos pourcentages une place assez élevée qui nous donne des opportunités d'aller du résultat plus constamment. Fait qu'on s'arrête pas où ce qu'on est dans le classement, puis cette erreur-là, elle fait plus mal parce qu'on est... Non, cette erreur-là, elle fait mal parce que c'est quelque chose qu'on parle, puis on veut passer à d'autres choses.
C'est automatisme ou lecture que tu veux renforcer quand il arrive des situations comme celle-là? C'est quoi qui est plus important?
Il y a toujours un peu des deux. Mais c'est sûr, il faut que tu partes avec une fondation, une structure, si tu veux. Mais il y a toujours... il y a beaucoup de situations, c'est noir et blanc, mais il va toujours avoir du gris de temps en temps. Les joueurs, des bons joueurs de l'autre côté, c'est sûr, il y a toujours de la lecture qui fait partie de ça, de l'anticipation. Mais tu sais, il faut... Plus t'en parles, moins qu'il y a de gris.
Marty, watching Ivan Demidov this year, it's easy to forget that it's his first season in the NHL. Just when he goes through a situation where he's not producing as much as he would like or he expects to, how do you sort that out with him?
Yeah, I mean, you just bring him back to basics. You know, I feel like when the game is good to you, you know, you expect it all the time, and then sometimes you get lost in wanting the results so bad you forgot like actually why the game was so good to you in the first place. You know, and to me, you know, it's about being process driven. You know, and I feel like when he sticks to that, I think he raises his own percentages of finding success. You know, and sometimes you need a bounce here and there sometimes, but I feel in general for me is sometimes your success makes you expect it all the time, and you can get frustrated because you're not getting it, and you just forget the process that it took you to get that success.
He's in a very unique category in terms of skill. Just is there a balance to depending on that and simplifying? Like how does one strike that balance when they have that level of skill?
Well, the game is. You know, it's a good question, but and I want to be careful I answer it, but I don't believe that the game is necessarily played with skill. You need skill, but there's, you know, in a collective game, you don't always have to use the skill. You can use your teammates, you can play in between checks, you can anticipate all over the ice. There's going to be moments where there's one-on-one moments, and now you need some skill to create space. He has that. When he isolated one-on-one, he has that. But there's a lot of other moments, and sometimes it's not even offensively, sometimes it's on defense. So, you know, I feel like their line recently has had to defend too much. And that's because, you know, they haven't done a good enough job defensively to have the legs to go on offense. You know, they're pretty much wasting a lot of energy defending, but if they did it a little bit better, they wouldn't spend as much time there. So not to say that they've been poor defensively, but I think there's a process to finding success, and it's not always with the puck. Well, who wants it?
I haven't had one yet, so I'd like one. Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Way to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I try sometimes. Last week you talked about how this fully healthy situation is new to you and it's new to the group, and managing it is going to be sort of a day-to-day thing. What are some of the cues that you use to make your decisions in terms of who's playing and who's not, and what are you learning about managing the people behind those decisions and sort of delivering that message?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's the first time we've had this depth and you know, the talent level that we've had. You know, we have some really good players who rather line up sometime. And for me, at this time of the season, obviously, you know, effort's always going to be a big part and compete, you know, but it's also, you know, you have to have some details at this time of the season, I find, you know, and I feel like there's been a lot of conversation throughout the season. We're at a stage in our season where things are pretty clear, and now it's to, you know, have some consistency with your details. And if you lack something, you know, we have healthy body, good players, so, you know, sometimes you get steered in making decisions and as a coach, but you know, it's more than just one thing. But I feel like, you know, how competitive the rest of the season is going to be and playoff. Like we have to be a group that value playing with details.
Does that help you maintain your standard that you were talking about?
I think so. Yeah. Ok, merci beaucoup.
On details today, 5 against 6, one-on-one battle, one-on-one different position. The fact that the mistake costs bigger for your team at this time of the year because you're in the battle for the first place of your division. Is it more important at this point to work on that?
Of course. I think Details are always important, but especially this time of the year, teams are going to be, competing extremely hard. Points are going to be so hard to come by. Teams are desperate, so it's, it matters. So you want to make sure your details are sharp, and we worked on some things that we know are going to be important on this road trip.
It's a big week, obviously, with all the tractations, discussions regarding the trade deadline last year. Nick Suzuki said that he wanted the group to have a run and gain some experience. When you look 1 year ahead, how much experience do you feel this group has gained when it comes to, yes, you lost some players, but also some of the others stepped up and gained a big advantage?
Yeah, of course. Last year mattered for us. We felt like we came into this year trying to use our experiences and be better off for it, and I think we have to this point, but it's only going to get tougher. We know last year, what we went through trying to get in the playoffs, and we don't necessarily want to be in that position again. Right now we have an opportunity to take care of business, win some games, put ourselves in a comfortable spot where we're chasing those teams in front of us, and this is the funnest time of year to be playing hockey. So it's competitive hockey. It's going to be a fun road trip for us, and then a big one for our group.
Is this part of the season still stressful even after 12 or 13 years? For the line?
I wouldn't say stressful. It's just part of the business. I think everyone's aware of what's going on, and you try to stay in your routine, business as usual. But we'd be lying if it's not something that's you hear about. But the best you can, and the best thing for us, I believe, is we have a game that day, so it's you're able to distract yourself and kind of have your nap, and then you wake up and see what happened around the league.
Do you feel that maybe the move has been done? Getting Dixie,
I've kind of always said our job is to play. That's what we got enough responsibility, things to think about. There's people in those positions that we trust extremely to be able to put our team in the best chance. If they feel there's an opportunity, they're going to make a move. But if they're not, they trust our group as well, and we have a lot of faith in this locker room that we have what it takes in there. And that said, if you ever add anyone, you welcome them in, and it's only going to help. So for us, it's just try to focus on a normal day the best you can, and go with what you got.
How do you guys deal with the possibility to see a teammates or a friend leaving the team?
To be honest, it's just not something you really think about until it happens. At some point you're going to have to deal with it. You play long enough in this league, you're going to have friends traded, and you deal with it. But like I said, you focus on what you have in the locker room, and we have a lot of confidence that what we have right now is capable of beating anyone. And we've been building and pushing, and like I said, we put ourselves in a good spot right now. It's just a matter of taking advantage of it and running with it.
You guys are hammering away at details. You made a career of making it hard on opposing goaltenders in front of the net, defensemen there. On your end of things, on your team, how can you guys make it a little harder to get to those second chance opportunities? Do you see it as an issue or an area of something that needs work for the team in general?
Yeah, not an issue. I think it's an opportunity. And we have a group that's scored a lot of goals, but I think we are leaving some on the table, especially this time of year. That's where goals are going to be scored. And hockey changes, but it seems like it always comes back to the same thing. At the end of the day, you got to get traffic around the net. You got to make it tough on goaltenders, and obviously the other team's aware of that. But it's the game within the game that's important. So that's certainly something we talk about. An area that if we're able to improve, we'll see even more success.
Rankin, you're one of the few guys on the team who was around here when the deadline was an opportunity to add and not send guys away necessarily. Just how different do you feel the sort of vibe is this year with you guys being competitive and being on the other end of sort of the deadline?
Yeah, it's obviously much better. I've been on teams where you really felt like you needed to add a piece and you were just missing one thing and you'd go on a run. I've been on teams where you really loved your team and there was you didn't want to really disturb it. There's so much that goes into these trade deadline days, and there's like I said, management. We just put all our trust in them. We trust them. We're confident in the work that they do, and we have enough to worry about. So as a group, we do feel very confident with what we have in that locker room. But if they feel they want to add someone and bring someone in, we know it's only going to help.
Would you talk about your line a little bit, because you have a lot of responsibilities defensively too? You played a lot in the last game versus a big team. When you arrived earlier in your career, you were more obviously a defensive player with Philip at one point too. to be able to have that goal today? Is it meaningful?
Yeah, no, and I really enjoy it. I think anytime you get a chance to contribute to the team's success, regardless how it is. Sometimes it's scoring goals, but there's so many other ways that you're able to help a team win a game. And when coach puts that trust in you just want to take advantage of it and prove them right. So it's, I think our line, we're confident in ourselves. We can be effective every night, and consistency is going to be important. And if we can do that, bring some momentum to the group, and it doesn't matter who we're on the ice against. I feel like if we're playing to our standard, I think it's it'll be pretty tough to play against.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Brendan.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Brendan.
A week later, are you feeling any different? Are you feeling more like normal, I would say?
Yeah, I feel pretty normal. Pretty much, well, when we just started playing on Thursday, I felt normal right away, Back to the, how do I say it?
Routine.
Back to the routine. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, and just, feeling normal. I like to be on the road, so back on the road, just enjoying it.
What would make the difference for your line right now? How can you guys find the recipe that's led to so much success for all three of you this season?
I feel like we just gotta be patient, we gotta stick to the process. Sometimes we were maybe forcing things too much when we don't have to, and we don't set ourselves up with some better chance maybe later in the shift. And just be patient and make good and smart decisions with the puck.
What about pace? You guys think you can elevate that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can be faster. Every one of us can for sure play with a little more pace and a little more predictability, I would say, as well.
How much do you feel that the experience you gained as a young player last year in this part of the season, building for the playoffs, help you now to see things a different way, maybe more mature, or maybe a bit less stress when it comes to playing these important games?
Yeah, for sure, less stressed. We're for sure in a better spot than we were last year, so that helps obviously. And then I feel like we all know what we have to do, and I would say every year is a different, so you always learn something new. And we're in a good spot, and we just gotta make sure we stay on task. Keep playing hard, keep working hard, and we'll be good.
Now it's learning to play 6 against 5, so it means it goes pretty well.
Sorry?
When you practice the 6 against 5, it means that it goes pretty well for.
Yeah, for sure. Well, our line got scored on twice, so that didn't go pretty well. But
So it was for you.
yeah. No, it's good for the team. When you practice these situations, you're probably in a better spots at the end of the game. You got to be prepared for that, and got to be able to close out the games.
From the experience that you had about the game at this time of the year, did you expect that could be a challenge for your two line mates who are at their first year?
Yeah, for sure, it's a challenge. This final stretch is always hard, because you already played like 60 games. Your body's getting a little bit more tired. You get tired a little faster, but just gotta make sure you recover good. You have a good rest, and then you're mentally prepared every time you step on the ice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
trade deadline where, in the past, the team was sellers or most of the time, and it's not going to be the case this year. Is it a different sort of way to approach things as players?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's kind of a less of a cloud hanging over, a lot of the guys' heads, and I think that's allowed us to kind of play a little more free, and I think it showed the last couple games.
Did you have a message for Kent and Jeff this year?
No, definitely not the same conversation that I had last year, and I have full faith in those guys, and trust in their process, and whatever happens, the players will be on board.
How different is this? You were a young group that got to experience playoff hockey for the first time last year, and it was probably a little too brief in your view, I would imagine. But for the youth of this team to take another step, like just the value of being able to play like second round playoff games, like what kind of value would you put on that?
I mean, any playoff game, you get a ton of value and experience, and we gained probably more experience just the final stretch of the season trying to secure a playoff spot, and making every game super important. Standing, watching, and there's a lot of stress that comes with that, and we put ourselves in a better position now. But every playoff game that you can play in is added to the list of experience that you can have.
The experience that you gained there, you guys, it was a rough ride. Like, it was very, very physical hockey, as playoffs always are. But do you see an importance in this team taking a step in that department over the next games of preparation to get there?
I think so. I mean, there's obviously a physical switch in the playoffs, and there's also has to be a mental switch. I think we didn't turn that on right away. They kind of were very physical right from the start, and it took us a little bit. So I think as a group we'd be more prepared for that, and it's going to be playoff games all down the stretch again for us.
Marty, talk to us about the teaching part of practice today. How much do you enjoy this back and forth between the coach and the players? And he seems to be valuing the output of the players in those situations also.
Yeah, I mean, as players, you obviously don't want to overstep, and when he's looking for, clarification from us, that I think it helps just the communication between the players and the coaches, and there's little nuances that maybe someone will bring up that the coaches hadn't thought of, or vice versa. So I think it's nice to have that open communication.
You're going to face Macklin Celebrini tomorrow. What struck you the most about being his teammates for a few weeks in Italy?
Super impressed, obviously. Just with the way he carries himself. First off, he walks around and speaks like a veteran guy that's been around the league a long time, and it's pretty impressive to see. And then on the ice, just super special talent, and I think he's grown a ton over the year that since we played him, and looking forward to going up against him.
How can you explain that a player of his age can be such maturity like he has?
Probably just has to do a lot with his family. He's been around high level athletes probably his whole life, and I think he knows how good he is and how good he can be, but he doesn't act like he's the top dog everywhere he goes. I mean, he's very humble, works hard. He does everything the right way, and it's really impressive to see at that age.
Nick, speaking about the first topic, just sorry, Martin. Why your group, this team, is special in your mind?
I don't know. There's a lot of things that comes to mind. I mean, just we had a team dinner last night. All the guys, just we have so much fun together. Everyone just chatting, end of the table to the other end of the table. It's I think just the camaraderie that we have, the people that we have is special, and I saw that. With Team Canada, I mean, you get a special group of guys, and it just helps every single day with this grind that we go on.
Speaking about the trading deadline, the fans are excited because of your position this year. Is it the same for you guys at the approach of the deadline? You could have help soon. I mean, is what we expect. I don't know for you guys.
I don't know. I don't really expect a big trade or small trade or whatever. You know, honestly, pretty happy with our group, and I don't think we, you know, well, I don't know what the coaching staff or the management see for this deadline, but, you know, I have full belief in all the guys that we have already, and I think pretty much everyone would say the same.
Thank you.